while Ola Aina has returned to England after Nottingham Forest asked for his release. Now, the Eagles will hope to avoid any upset against the Amavubi, while Rwanda have all to play for as they seek qualification for the African Cup of Nations. Senior correspondent Solomon Ajuziego tells us more.
The Super Eagles close out the year with a clash against the Amavubi of Rwanda in the final qualifier of the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations. Already through to the tournament next year as top of the group, the Eagles are looking to finish the qualifiers unbeaten.
Nigerians, everybody is equal to the task, you understand? And I believe in the guys. I know if they put up their best, they will come out victorious.
Nigeria can still go unbeaten. Even we are resting some players because the country name is at stake. The players' name too is at stake.
Nigeria will rest some key players against the Rwandans who need to win the match to qualify.
It's home-based professional in Nigeria to face these Rwandans. I believe they can do their best. They can even give Nigeria victory.
So I would like him to start, what's his name? Victor Collins today, because based on the only home-based player who is in the national team. So I want him to start Collins so that he can see more of the new players. So I believe that the other players who have not had opportunity to play, they are also capable. So let the world, let people too see them, what they can do.
Despite the fact that some of our players will not be playing, but the ones that are available are hungry, because it's a game that is very key for them, because if you don't do well in this game, it will affect the next call-up.
Rwanda are locked in a battle with Benin Republic to secure the second qualifying spot from the group. The Cheetahs of Benin Republic travel to face Libya in the second Group D game.
For me, I will pick Benin Republic because they are close to Nigeria and they are West Africa.
Our brother, and they are very close to us, and most of the players in Benin are Nigerians, so I will prefer Benin to qualify.
They are neighbors, so I want them, and there are so many Nigerian players who are there too.
You know, some of our brothers play for Benin Republic, so I think from that angle, and Benin gave us a good fight, so I would like to see Benin at the Nations Cup too, alongside Nigeria.
Already through to the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations, with 2 matches to spare and with the luxury of resting key players in the final qualifying match, the Super Eagles line out against the Amavubi of Rwanda. The Rwandans need a win against the Super Eagles with a hope that Libya will beat Benin Republic for the Amavubi to qualify from the group to the tournament in Morocco next year. Solomon Ajuziego, TVC News.
Well, interesting one rather. Several Nigerians rooting for Benin Republic are neighbors. When it comes to football, indeed, they are friendly neighbors. Now, let's turn our attention to a football administrator, one who knows Nigerian football inside out and understands what it takes to be at the African Cup of Nations and, more importantly, to compete at the highest level of continental football. David Doherty joins me on the show this evening. David, good evening. It's good to have you on the show.
Yeah, good evening, Samson. How you doing?
I'm good. It's good to see you as well. Good to have you back, here. Let's dive into it as quickly as we can. We know quite well that we've qualified. Top spot is guaranteed. The dead rubber game looks like something inconsequential, so to speak, for, the players. But certain fringe players will definitely want to seize this opportunity to impress the interim manager and see if they can lay stake for more playing time with the Eagles. How do you think Eguavoen approaches the game? Do you think it's all about a total overhaul and having the fringe players get more minutes, or it should still rely on the bulk of, the starting 11 that has prosecuted other qualifying series that we've seen over the last 2 months?
I think it's striking a balance here anyway. I think you can still have, all of the players, even the fringe ones, to have at least minimum of 45 minutes in the bank for each of the players. Some of them can even go as much as going up to 80 to 90 minutes game time. I think it's very important that we get to see these players like Sadiq Umar, players like even Boniface needs to prove himself in the colors of the Super Eagles. He needs to do that. We haven't seen that. We want to see the same thing that he does at club level. We understand that it's a different approach, a different setup, a different tactics and all that. But I think we still want him to try and put something at the back of the net, to try and, start getting his name onto the lips of Nigerians. And then the likes of the young man in the middle of the park that plays in the US, we want to see him more. Also, Fisayo can also get on the game if he's fit. The likes of who else? Osho needs to start, and let's see more of him. I think he did not too badly in the last game against Benin Republic. I think they're very tough on physical side, so I think it's looking good for him anyway. So I think for Eguavoen is for us to see some of these players, and I believe having the likes of Okoye, who is the second best goalkeeper in the Serie A, I think that is something massive, and I think he's definitely in there to try and tell Nigerians that he's back and he's back fully. And so I think it's an opportunity for all these players to try and put their names in the lips of Nigerians and do very well for themselves and also for the country.
Okay, let's talk about the fact that so many teams are relying on us, in that group, and we know quite well that Rwanda will be hoping that we do not show up to the party, so that they win the match and hope that other results go their way. You have Libya as well, hoping there's Benin Republic in the mix as well. How do you think this affects the team going forward, especially to the match, which is less than an hour from now? Issues of complacency in there, or you think it's all about the business at this point in time?
I think it's all about the business. We shouldn't be too, moved or distracted by what other teams are looking for. We just have to go out there and do the business. And I think this is where the players should have this at the back of their mind. This is not business. This is not a game whereby they will get to relax. This is like an assessment for them. It's like an exam for some of them that haven't really caught with the Nigerian colors. So they need to prove a point. They need to tell us that they have it. They need to tell us that, listen, if the likes of Osimhen are not, in the squad, they can easily shoulder the weight of all the 200 million plus Nigerians across the globe and say, listen, we can get the job done. So they're out there. All eyes are on them. This is not a game they have to relax. This is a game they have to give all their 120% in for us to have something in, regardless who will favor or not.
Okay, the debates are still rife in the media, and that's simply because of how stunning the results have been in this qualifying series. And that has to do with, filling the vacancy in terms of the managerial role at the Super Eagles, at this point in time. We know quite well that Austin Eguavoen is there on an interim basis, and that those who still think he should get the job, permanently. Others think we should go for a foreign coach. If he ends this qualifying campaign unbeaten, you may want to question the quality of opponents, but you can't also deny the fact that it's definitely an improvement from the past days where we had to rely on various permutations to see if we could even qualify for the Continental Showcase. So the question is simple. Do you, on the basis of what you've seen over the past 5 games, especially in this qualifying series, do you think Austin Eguavoen should get the job on a permanent basis, especially if he wins tonight?
I think you're trying to put me on the spot here, and it's a question I personally also ask Nigerians when I had to read through. Like when I read through what someone brought to my notice from one of the tweets from Osasu, which reads that he would expect Eguavoen to actually probably just say, well, thank you, NFF, I've done the job, to go back to my role, the role of the technical department, director of the team. And I think that is very important. Eguavoen needs to come out and tell us Nigerians, I want to go back into coaching. He wants to take the job fully. But for me, I'm a fan of having an homegrown coach, which is I don't call it indigenous, the word local, indigenous coach to be at the helm of affairs when it comes to football in Nigeria. Because listen, we cannot keep relying too much on foreign coaches to come in and get the job done for us. Yes, we might need a bit of technical input and support. It's not something bad. If you look at Senegal, they had this with Cisse, having him as the top man sitting in front, and a foreign coach comes in as a technical advisor, helps within the technical part of the game and all that. And I think that is something that we can also go into. But the ball sits on the table of Eguavoen. to confirm if it's really it. We might be saying yes, but when it comes around, trust me, we won't even seem a second to lash out. And I think, yeah, if the results are going fine, everyone loves it, yes, but it's a different ball game from the qualifiers of AFCON and the World Cup where we are at that table, and we needed something to happen drastically. So is the Guavon ready to carry the pressure? If he is, and he's ready to do that, he needs to quickly inform NFF so they can have someone in to be the new technical director or vice versa, and then we can get going on with our football. But for now, I think he's done very well with the team. One thing he has going on for him is having the support. As any coach, you need the support of the players. He has done that, which is just 60 to 70% of what you need to be successful in any managerial department. And I think that is what he has going on for him. It's not more about the coaching, it's more of how he has managed to put the players together, manage them very well. It's a different ball game to a coaching side of football. I think that's for him. He has done well, and the rest of the team, I think they've done very well for themselves. So the ball is in his court to decide that. I'm not in here to tell you if a Guavon can stay in or not.
Okay, I know what you're trying to do there, but I'll still have to put you on the spot because these are debates Nigerians, especially football fans, are interested in. And it's simple now. You've said if the man is interested in the job, he should make his intentions known to the Nigerian Football Federation, and there should be a replacement for the technical director's role if he decides to go fully into coaching. The question is this. You contested the NFF presidency in 2022. You are a veteran football administrator, and you understand the business of the game, both administratively and even the commercial side of things. So I'm putting you on the spot now. If Guavon decides to go back to his technical role, and we have that vacancy in terms of a substantive head coach for the Super Eagles, between now and March next year when the World Cup qualifiers will come calling again, what do you expect the NFF to put in place to ensure that the team is ready to go to ensure that, to get the maximum results needed to turn around the woeful start to that qualifying series?
I think it's for NFF to go to decide that, to go straight into action and look at for a coach that has got the experience. For you to get an experienced coach, a coach that understands the terrain, the football terrain, the coach that is quite very good, not just on the CV, but also they've done it over the years. The results are there for people to see. They're also, don't forget, an indigenous coach that is in and outside the shores of Nigeria can also, do the job. But like I said to you, you will definitely get someone to walk beside them to help them within that side of the tactical side and the technical side of the game, which I think most of our indigenous coaches struggle with. But I think, yeah, for me, I'm always open to have, like I said to you, I'm a fan of having something done by Nigerians leading the front. You can as well have somebody behind the scene that will be working with this same man to get the job done. So in any which way they go for, I'm definitely going to support them. But what I can say is that I will always go for an indigenous coach supported by, say, for example, a foreign technical advisor. But either way, if they want to go with a foreign technical advisor, they shouldn't give us a coach that is on the same level with the likes of a Guavon, the likes of Parceiro, the likes of Raw. All those guys are journeymen. Trust me, if you want to get a coach for Super Eagles, for any World Cup qualification, must be a top-notch coach. If you can't get us Guardiola, anything else is absolutely zero. I'm not talking about Guardiola Nigeria, which is also the Guavon. I'm talking about Pep Guardiola.
Okay.
That coach.
You've spoken like a true football administrator. I won't drive up. I won't. Don't worry. I won't push you further on that. And I hope that with the jersey you're donning, being patriotic, rather, the Eagles are able to grant us our wishes in terms of winning the match itself. We know quite well it's a dead rubber game, but the victory is something that is always sweet to the ears of Nigerians, or pleasant rather to the ears of Nigerians. I'm going to raid your wardrobe very soon for that, Jesse. Thank you so much for your time on the show this evening.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Okay, there you have it. Talking about Super Eagles, we wish the team the very best. They will be taking on the Amavubi of Rwanda later this evening. 5 p.m. is the destination time. And if you are around Uyo, the Godswill Akpabio Stadium, do well to go there and cheer the team. They will be doing us proud right there. Let's talk about the African Cup of Nations qualifiers right now. There were results yesterday, and there you have on your screen fixtures for today. I'm talking about Comoros taking on Madagascar. Tunisia slugging it out against Gambia. The Tunisians have qualified. Central African Republic against Gabon. Morocco, the host nation for the next continental showpiece, against Lesotho. Libya against Benin Republic. You want to keep an eye on that. Both sides still have a fighting chance. Nigeria against Rwanda. Ghana against Nigeria. For the Ghanaians, they are out of the African Cup of Nations. It has been a very drastic decline for the Ghanaian football team on the continent over the past 6 years. We would have a Ghanaian football writer talk to us tomorrow about what exactly is going on in Ghana and how they can come back from these depths of despair that they find themselves in. But talking about results over the weekend, yesterday precisely, you had Tanzania defeating Ethiopia by 2-0. Guinea edged DR Congo by a lone goal. You had Guirassy, that's the Dortmund man, scoring the lone goal there. Algeria thumping Liberia by 5-1. Like the Liberians took a shock lead there before Algeria decided to show their superiority. And Togo defeating Equatorial Guinea by 3-0. For the Equatorial Guinean side, they are through to the African Cup of Nations, and that's probably explains why they lost by that margin. But let's watch highlights of some of the goals scored in the African Cup of Nations qualifiers.
Dans le camp avec Cheikh Moundé qui va essayer de le pousser. Mouko, il a perdu le ballon, récupéré par Isia Gassila. L'ultime tentative, peut-être avec le centre. Il est bon ce centre. Oh le but de Serhou Guirassy sur le son d'Isia Gassila. Il s'était fait oublier le capitaine Serhou Guirassy qui vient là claquer ce ballon. Cette reprise de volée et fait un...
Il fait clair pour laisser la cante. Une victoire pour s'assurer d'être au Maroc l'an prochain. Mais pris par l'enjeu, les Comoriens débutent mal. À la 18e, Pandore est battu sur la reprise de Jatta. Le doute s'installe. Il n'y aurait que quelques minutes. Le temps pour Rafiki Saïd d'égaliser d'un splendide enchaînement.
Un bon jaillissement de Zedou Youssouf. Et tout de suite, il a pu trouver son coéquipier. Qu'est-ce que c'est bien fait! Et but, il se l'est créé tout seul.
Un premier soulagement avant la libération signé Miziane Maolida en toute fin de match.
Tant bien que mal avec Sélémani. Et la tête et le but! Le but des Comoriens! C'est le but de la...
TVC Sports Desk.
Great goals scored rather in the African Cup of Nations qualifiers. Comoros defeating Gambia as well to book their place in trusting times in African football. Now let's turn attention to the European scene. It's all about the UEFA Nations League. Some have termed it a glorious friendly or a glorified friendly if you want to call it. But that doesn't mean that the big stars are still not turning up for their nations. Andrew Rabiot